Hey, Mike, how's it going? Can you hear me? Not yet. Uh-oh, I can't even hear myself. Mike?
Yes, hi.
Hi, you good. You can hear me. How
I
you doing?
can. I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. I'm delighted. I didn't see an update from you, so I wasn't able.
Oh yeah, I'm not due for a couple of days. This is my fifth day of my second week.
And from your posts and everything, it sounds like you're just no hunger. It's just brilliant. You're just right on track.
This is the most amazing thing. When I say
Hey,
no hunger, I mean I don't want to say full, like stuffed full, but I've had enough food.
that's it. That's it. You wonder, you look at some of the kids in Africa, right? And I've been there and I've seen these kids, and you wonder how in the world are they not just crying in misery from being hungry? When I mean, the pictures they always show are people who are tearing and whatnot, but that's for other reasons. But they're really not hungry. And why? They're just not getting in anything in some cases. And so why aren't they hungry? And the bottom line is because they're just used to getting and eating. They're used to taking in exactly what they're used to. I mean, they're getting exactly what they're used to, so they're just not hungry for more. Their hunger stats are turned way down, and all it takes, frankly, is a little bit of food to completely fill them up. And if you were to try and force feed them to eat more, it would be painful for them. So I mean, it's sort of the same idea, and this is how people can fast for long periods of time. And of course, it's a great way to lose weight because what you do is you just simply set your hunger stat as you have to a very small volume, and then just write it out until you've gotten the job done and you're done. But it's a neat thing. It's a great tool to have in your arsenal.
And I'm looking to the maintenance. By the way, I've done 40-day water fasts too.
Okay.
So I'm familiar. I know hunger. I know it goes. I'm thrilled that it's going with 5 bites. My compliance is like
Perfect.
100%.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's everything. That just being that committed to it and then following through on it, that's everything. It
You
just
know,
it shows what you
I've given. I've
shows where
given.
your priorities are. Sorry.
No, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I've given my word to myself, and that's it. That's
That's it.
worth more to me than anything. I don't care what's going on in business, what's
That's right.
going on. I have control about whatever I can put in my mouth. I put 5 bites in. That's it. That's
Perfect.
it.
I love it. What are people at work saying?
Um,
Does anyone are they noticing?
yeah. Well, I told you I lost maybe 30 pounds before I started this
Okay.
by doing calorie restriction, whatever. And I do a DVD every month for my business. Well, I did one that went out a couple of days ago, and people just have been saying, "What happened to you? What is that? The same? Is that really what happened?" Because I'm down 40 pounds since July 8th.
That's brilliant. I love it. I love it. How about your cardiology friend?
Oh, he just doesn't know what to do. I played golf yesterday. It was 109 out here yesterday, right? But I played golf with him in
Where do you live?
Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
I spent the weekend in Palm Springs and it was 118 actually.
Oh my God.
It's
Oh.
crazy.
But I played early in the morning. It was
That's
fine.
right.
And I saw him after golf. He's shaking his head. He said, "How can you still be losing and I'm still gaining?" And I said, "I'm not eating very much."
That's it. That's exactly it. That's the right thing.
If I have two questions specifically, um, I, I've been trying not to watch the weight too carefully. I get it once a week. I understand. I understand the
Perfect.
psychology. But I did a couple of nights. I wanted to see how much I was breathing out.
All
So
right.
6 hours of sleep, 0.4 pounds went. Brilliant. Works, right? I started eating bars for 3 days
Okay.
after I went off my lean proteins and veggies.
Perfect.
And of course, because Snickers bars can't be good enough for me, right? So I ate these protein bars that I found. I researched them up, the Yin Yang Quest bars or whatever.
How much do they weigh?
They weigh 2.1,
2.1 ounces.
2.12 ounces.
Perfect. Okay.
180 calories. Bloated me up. I couldn't keep my eyes open after I ate them.
Huh.
Don't know why. Maybe it's the sugar alcohols. Maybe it's this.
Something
Maybe
in there. Who knows? Okay.
And I had several spells, including yesterday. I just couldn't keep my eyes open in the
Okay.
afternoon. So I lay down and rest. It was no big deal. Now, I had a Snickers bar this afternoon.
Right.
The first time in 15 years,
Okay.
I've had refined sugar or a piece of candy. So, I made sure my affairs were in order and the will was all done.
It's too funny. That's hilarious.
I ate it. I couldn't take a nap this afternoon. I felt just great. So I am.
A, a big believer in Snickers.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
They're great, aren't they?
It should not work that way.
It does. No, they're perfect. They're great. They got plenty of protein. They've got as they say, it's completely satisfying. It gives you everything your body needs. There's really nothing you don't. It's just perfect. It's a great way to get from one meal to the next.
I have been yesterday, over the weekend, I had a couple of real food meals. So I had a chicken thigh.
Okay.
And what I did was I put it on the scale.
Okay.
I know this bar is around 2 ounces, so is my program. I put it on the scale. I took 4 moderate bites.
Okay.
Enjoyed it. It was delicious. I hadn't had a thigh with the skin on, and
it was amazing, right? The other thing is when you're eating a small amount of food, the food that you eat is so spectacular. Just the flavors just explode in your mouth, right?
I took it off after I finished eating my bites. I put it back on the scale. It started out as 7.5 ounces. It ended up at 5.5 ounces. So I knew I had eaten around 2 ounces of the food.
Perfect. Okay.
I know that using the bars to, I don't know what the right word is, to measure, to titrate.
To regulate the amount you're eating.
Of what the volume is. So I'm trying to keep it.
Perfect.
I'm not going to be that, compulsive about it.
You don't need to be that compulsive. And I'm more interested in all honesty, I'm more interested in just in volume, the ultimate number of bites you've taken, than I am in weight. Though roughly speaking, when you're done with the meal, it'll be about 2 ounces. Maybe it's 1.5 ounces. Maybe it's 4 ounces. It really doesn't matter. Let's face it. It's insignificant, right? Keep in mind also that the chicken that you're eating contains a lot of water, just a lot of cells, a lot of water in there.
Yes.
So that completely does not count in any way. So obviously you're getting in less ultimate carbon that becomes incorporated as fat when you're eating something like protein, just because of the water content. Same thing with, vegetables and fruits and things like that. But ultimately all I care about is volume. I just want about the same amount. It sounds like you're doing perfectly well.
Yeah, and the only thing that has passed my lips other than those 5 bites has been good black coffee.
Great.
Reverse osmosis water, a simple multivitamin in the morning.
That's fine. You're doing perfect. So, boy, this is awesome. You're going to be done with this thing in like no time.
The weight loss, because I did this thing, I kind of cheated, a little bit. It cheated in the sense that I wanted to weigh to see what the carbon blowing out overnight was.
Right.
But I couldn't help notice what the weight was. So the weight loss wasn't as rapid.
Okay.
But I had a couple of, I haven't, without being too much information, there's no volume of food to pass through the intestine. So I haven't had a
bowel movement in a long time.
Yeah, almost a week. So I understand.
You're doing exactly right. I love it.
That's how I know I'm not eating too much volume. That's
exactly right. And that's a great way of letting me know that you're right on track. So it's perfect. Yeah. So whatever happens is what happens. I know the result's going to be amazing and the results are going to be fantastic, but you don't need to think about what more could I do. There's nothing more you can do. You don't need to do anything more. So now just sit back, relax, and just let it happen.
So tomorrow night starts the first of 4 nights, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, going out to these really fantastic restaurants.
Fantastic. God, I can't wait
to hear. I told the people already. I told them if they don't like it,
whatever.
I won't pay for the meal. They can pay for the meal.
I'm
paying. I'm eating the way I like. They're friends as well as industry people. I've already talked to one of the guys who saw me last month, a month and a half ago, and said, he asked me if I had surgery. Actually,
I love it. See, I love it. I think it's fantastic. What a great impact you're making on other people. I think it sounds like, I don't know, but it just sounds like from whatever work you do, you're sort of in a high position and people look up to you and they're really interested in what you're doing.
They're always asking me about that because I have the ability to lose weight, gain weight, all the rest. And what's excited me so much about your work and what you're doing is I see the vision. I can see if 5 bites fill me up, and I can eat whatever I want, just about. When I get to whatever the goal weight is that I'm comfortable at, and
you can certainly eat a lot more and be content with that amount, whatever that amount needs to be.
and the ability to titrate back if I need to. Oh my gosh!
It's exactly right.
So my eye, my eye is on that prize.
That's right.
And yes, yesterday was hell. I got to tell you, after golf, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I had to come home. I ate a little chicken. I laid down.
Snickers bar was perfect.
I'm sorry?
Snickers bar would have probably been a little better.
Well, I didn't have I had to see the lawyer to review the will and the trust if I died from eating a Snickers bar.
You're too funny. You just cracked me up.
Come on, sugar is poison. I've been ketogenic and ultra low carb for years and years. I know. Well, I know. And every afternoon, it's like I can't move. I had a Snickers bar at around 1 o'clock. It's 6:30 here now. I just been full of.
That's great.
All afternoon,
That's great. Did you watch?
And I think some of this weight not moving or whatever, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. May have to do with the fact that I have been going through probably forcing my body to do so much gluconeogenesis from eating no starches and no sugars and just having good proteins and some green vegetables.
It'll all work out. It'll all even out. It'll all be good. So you're gonna do great. I mean, I'm really, really excited for you. Did you watch the PGA Championship?
I did indeed.
Oh,
I did. I was rooting for Jordan Spieth.
I was too, only because he's so new. He's very well. He's very well. I don't know. Very well spoken. Really super amazing, nice guy, great representative of the sport. And he's so young and he has a chance to break all these records. He's sort of like the old Tiger was when he first came out,
Exactly.
So,
what a sportsman.
What a great sportsman, huh?
He gave the thumbs up to Jason Day.
But you got to admit this. Jason Day, I'm so happy that he won it. I mean, he's just such a neat guy. So I think it was a win-win. And then, of course, Jordan takes the number one position.
Number one in the world. And Jason and his kid. I mean, oh, God.
It's exciting.
I played in the PGA Pro-Am here when they had it here.
Oh, really?
They had it at my country club. And, the skill those guys have. I mean, I was a pretty good player. I was down to scratch for a while.
Oh, that's great.
I'm nowhere near that. I'm like, I'm off 6 right now. I played for the second time in 4 months yesterday. I had to chip in a couple of times to shoot 78. It was not pretty, believe me.
That's great.
Well, but I tell you what, just like you said, I felt better on the course. My clothes are fitting me, loosely.
And you look sharp. You just look sharp.
Yes. Oh.
You just look great. You look like you have it all together. I think that's great. Yay!
I've watched virtually all the chats now. This has only been 12 days, right?
Yeah.
I've read your book through. I won't say every single day, but 9 out of the last 12.
But you're still holding off on that last part.
You don't know how hard it is.
It is. It is hard, I'm sure. But, I mean, are you able to? I mean, really, have you honestly not been able to avoid the last part?
I've been tempted to look at that study you cited about metabolism increasing as weight loss.
If you avoided even that, then I'm delighted. Yeah, just keep it going then. Just keep going. I mean, you've done everything so perfectly well to this point. You've stayed true to your commitment. Yeah, why break it now, right? Why break any commitment?
There's no. I'll stick it through to that. Now there is some trepidation about. Oh my gosh, what will happen if the weight doesn't move? And you know what?
It has to. That's just law of science. I mean, it has to move. It will. I promise.
I give you my word. Well, and I give you my word. This is what I'm doing.
That's right.
I've given myself my word. This is what I mean. I hear people and I empathize with them, as I'm sure you do. They have tough times in their life. They have holidays. They have family commitments. They have stress and all of that. My attitude is, I want to get this done, not just to lose the weight, but for the health, and then also going forward in life to have that freedom of eating and eating sensibly, moderately, and not worry about weight. That's worth so much more to me than any kind of discomfort that I could possibly go through now.
It's absolutely right. And I think probably the most valuable thing that you can learn from this program is comfort with throwing food away, comfort with not having to finish everything. It just makes it so easy. There's no counting on it. Just be comfortable. When you're full, when you feel like you're done, leave it there. If you are every time you feel like you're full, you throw food away, and that forces a couple more pounds off of your body and you end up lower than you feel comfortable, well, then intentionally go out and eat more. You'll manage. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just not hard to figure out once you're done. It's fun and it's neat to play that game. But yeah, first we got to get there. But you're so close. I mean,
I've been down there before. I know what it feels like. It's an amazing feeling. But the way I got there, Dottore, was through 6 days a week in the gym. Very, very hard work.
Too hard.
Protein shakes, macronutrient stuff. It's
not that hard. It's just not that hard. It's all about the diet. It's all about volume that you're taking in. So, no, you got it, man.
I watched that video, that TEDx video about the mathematics of weight loss.
Okay.
And it makes perfectly good sense.
Yeah.
We take it in, the biochemistry goes out, we breathe out carbon dioxide and water, and that's where the weight goes.
Okay.
And
I mean, keep in mind that our fat literally is pure carbon, just like a diamond or coal. I mean, it's just, okay. I mean, there's a carboxyl group on these long ends of carbons here. Carbon, 10 to 28 carbon atoms long in a single chain with a carboxyl group, a double bonded OH on one end. But it's essentially just pure carbon all lined up in these long chains. The 3 of them usually make up a triglyceride. And then that is fat, right? And then all of that's housed in the fat cell or the adipocyte. But our fat is nothing but carbon. So when it comes to losing weight, we have to calculate or account for the carbon. So where does that carbon go? Well, the fat's carbon. I mean, do you lose some carbon in your poop or in your urine? Yeah, but it's never part of your fat to begin with. Where fat's carbon goes is always out through the mouth. It gets attached to oxygen and we simply blow it out. So it's just that simple. And you did that, I guess you lost in 6 hours, like 0.4 pounds?
About one night it was 0.2, one night it was 0.4.
I'd like you to do that same experiment multiple times. I think you will find that over that same exact period of time. By the way, do you get up in the middle of the night to urinate or no?
Sometimes once, sometimes not at all.
If you do, for people who do it, like some of my patients might get up two times in the middle of the night. So what I'll have them do is get on the scale with a jar. Urinate in the jar. Yeah. Get back on the scale in the morning. So there's been no transfer matter. I mean, you've accounted for all matter that enters or leaves your body. Of course, what enters is oxygen, what leaves carbon dioxide. And I think that you will find that over, a larger sample size of 6 hours at night, you're going to find that your average weight loss over that period of time, my guess is closer to 0.8 or even a pound. That's my guess.
Okay. Now,
Maybe
both of these nights
I'm surprised. 0.4 seems a little bit low for me, for you, but maybe not.
Well, both of those nights, I made sure that it was a contiguous period of sleep.
Okay.
So like that. So I knew there was.
It could be your scale too. How sensitive is your scale?
To the 10th of a pound.
To the 10th, not to the half of a pound. 10. That's pretty good. That's pretty consistent. Yeah. That's going to give you a good measure.
And it's on Wi-Fi, so I've got measurements going back to 2010.
Okay. So that could very well just be the way your body's doing it. Okay.
And I have a feeling, I don't know, I want to ask you. My metabolism may have gotten a little too efficient with, am I hogging the conversation? Is there someone waiting?
There's nobody else here. I mean, we can see there's nobody else here, so it's just you.
I'm sorry. Okay. My metabolism may be very, very efficient.
Very, very efficient. That's exactly right.
Because all I've been eating since the beginning of July 8th, has been lean protein, meaning skinless chicken breast and fish, and a little bit of veggie. I didn't know about 5 bites at the time. I just wanted to beat these guys in this little weight loss competition. Right. So I ate that and very little. So I'm wondering, especially because my body reacted so well to eating this stupid Snickers bar with all the sugar and, and I didn't die, which surprised me.
That's too funny.
Funny. But so I'm wondering if my body, and if some of the fatigue might not be, because I've been doing 5 bites up until today with very, very, very low carbohydrate intake. And I'm wondering if forcing the body to make the sugar from the proteins and the fat is causing some fatigue.
Maybe. That's a great thought. It's a great thought. I mean, that's possible. Because your body has to get its sugar from somewhere, right? And if you aren't taking it in, it's not getting it from the fat. It'll it'll certainly use and break down the excess protein that you have. It usually, you excrete a lot of it through your urine, but it'll break down the excess protein. You'll form carbon, you'll form sugar out of it. No doubt about it, right?
But it's more inefficient and taxing metabolic process, isn't it?
It's boy, I mean, I don't, we don't know to that degree, that specifically exactly what goes on. And it's going to vary from person to person. We know a lot of different pathways in the body by which we metabolize different food sources or energy sources, building blocks. It's just that how do you know how much of one pathway do we use in one body versus another body? How much, crossovers? I mean, it's way too complex to know the exact answer of where everything's going, accounting for every single molecule. But here's my feeling. Do a little bit of just, clinical trial and error on your own part, right? So try eating more breads and things, or, sugar, straight off sugar, and see how you do with that. Like the Snickers bar. It's a great way to go. Then there's no bad food. I mean, I guess there are bad foods, but then they've been specifically labeled by the FDA as bad foods. Don't eat these, poisons and things. There's,
This has hydrogenated cottonseed oil in it. And I looked at this thing, saying, not possible. I'm going to have a sugar crash. This is going to be horrible for me. It was like,
good. It might be what your body actually needs. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah,
you want to have a balance of everything. So, they say that we should only be taking about 10% protein in our typical diet, whatever we're eating, about 10%, 10 to 20% of it should be protein. 60%, 60 to 80% even should be carbohydrates, sugar. The others, vegetables So
I've been going through various dietary religions, and the latest one was ketogenic, right? So, which also agrees that protein is bad, but instead of 60% coming from the carbohydrate macronutrient, it should be the fat macronutrients. You have opened my eyes. I've got a bookshelf. I should put it in the background next time we talk. I've got 600-700 books on diet nutrition. I'm not exaggerating.
That's amazing.
I've got ones from the 50s. I've got a very early copy of Banting, the original low carb diet from England back in the 1800s and so forth. I mean, I get in whatever it is. I get into it, whether it's raw or macrobiotic or you just name the fad, and I believed it.
It's great.
The idea that it's volume of food is so. I want to just keep hitting my head.
I wish I could say it's revolutionary, but it's not. I mean, surgeons got to it long before I did. So,
How do the bariatric patients gain back the weight? Even though, I mean, I get that they stretch it out, but
that's it.
There's only so much they could do.
They stretch it out with discomfort. It's just they're so compelled to eat everything they possibly see and finish it. They will eat despite the pain, the enormous pain sometimes, because that's their obsession. Their obsession is just to finish everything that they see, especially if it's free or cheap or, it's handed to, oh boy, just, it's the sense of entitlement, I guess. I don't know. There's all kinds of reasons why it might happen, but the bottom line is it does happen. And then they're really worse off than when they started, because now they've had their anatomy changed, but they haven't achieved the ultimate result, getting the weight off. So there's problems there. They've got to deal with vitamin and your nutrient maldeficiencies, or that and dumping syndrome and malabsorption problems and adhesions, bowel adhesions. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So anyway, yeah, that's a whole different thing. But how beautiful that you're just doing it on your own, doing it naturally in a way that feels comfortable. And if you think back, 20,000 years ago, that's how we used to always do it. Forever humans have been able to stay thin up until about the last 200 years. They obviously, you wonder, why is it? How is it that people were comfortable before the last 100 years or even the last 50 years? How is it that when you look at renderings of the Last Supper and you realize the portion sizes sitting in front of Jesus and the disciples at the last were so small? How could that have been considered a feast? what were people eating, and it's just all about what you're used to. And as we get more and more and more, the portion sizes grow more and more and more. Literally, the extra weight we gain, the fat promotes itself. We get hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. And there's a point in which you just cannot stop. So, there's a bunch of reasons why, when you get thin, it's easy to maintain it. But this is why I say, look, you just got to, put the brakes on, take a stand, start losing the weight. And all of a sudden, not only does your hunger stat reset so that a small amount of food fills you up, but just the mere process of getting rid of some of the fat is the absence of hunger. You're getting rid of the constant stimulation of appetite by getting rid of this extra fat in the body. You feel really good. And that's all mediated by interleukins, by the way. When I talk about the fat, I mean, obviously it's the fat cells secreting interleukins that's promoting, our hunger. So we're getting rid of fat cells by losing the weight. And it's just a positive cycle, that constantly feeds forward. And then all of a sudden you're done.
What I think is a great contribution, there's this whole theory of, I don't know if they call it intuitive eating or instinctive eating. You should eat what you want when you're hungry and stop when you're not hungry anymore.
I love it.
It's great, except that for most people, including myself, who had never reset the hunger stat to a smaller amount for the weight they want to be, I could just take something that's completely forbidden. I mean, another horrible suicide food, a croissant, right? Freshly baked, couple of bites, 3 bites, I feel good.
Great.
But because the hunger, no, not now. I mean, when I was saying, okay, well, let's try this.
Okay.
Hunger stat wasn't reset. I would eat the whole croissant.
That's right.
Half of my better halves, I'd go in the box and get the third one that we got from the bakery.
See, that's the difference. But see, this is the thing that you learn. Number one, the last 2.5 croissants don't taste any better than that first part. When you looked at the croissant, particularly when it's warm and you can see the steam rising off it, you can smell the butter. Oh my gosh, you're just craving that flavor. You have an idea in your mind of what that tastes like, but not until you actually take that first bite do you really know what it tastes like. You think you do, but you taste it and either it meets your expectations or it doesn't. Most of the time, if it's done well, it will. And maybe it'll even surpass your expectations, but then you know for sure what it tastes like. And you have a second bite. And oh gosh, it's just as spectacular as that first one. And then you have a third one. Yep, indeed. But now, going on and on and on, what's the point? It is so good, I understand that, but you're not going to be eating it every minute now for the rest of your life. So there's going to come a stopping point. So when is that going to be? And now you've learned how to say, that's it. There's really no point in eating the rest of it. If I'm craving it that much tomorrow, I'll have another one. But right now I'm done. So it's a matter of recognizing that really why we eat is to satisfy our craving for foods, but just the first couple of bites satisfies that craving. And then number two, it's okay. It's perfectly legal to just leave the rest there, throw it all away. And when you've got that kind of control, that's it. The rest of it, you'll sort of work out the fine nuances as you go along, and you sort of, once you've gotten to the finish line, you're sort of playing the trial and error balance game. You'll figure out all those little nuances that keep you exactly where you want to be. But those are the main things. Tasting what you want when you're craving something and not feeling compelled to finish food just because everybody else tells you have to. Right?
Well, exactly. Well, like mothers and aunts and grandmothers. In the culture all cultures, I'm sure.
It's all cultures. It's everybody.
In Italian,
I think more than anything else, it's become part of every single culture. Truly, every single culture tells you have to finish food.
Of course.
As an excuse. It's to justify why everybody in that culture has to finish everything. It's an excuse. I have to finish it because if I don't, then there are people else in other parts of the world who are starving, and we have to think about them, or it doesn't make any sense. That food's not getting to them.
My mother's side of the family they were all chefs, doctor, and so they would say, you would eat to show them how much you appreciated.
That's right.
How masterful they were with flavors and all like that. And they would just want you to eat. And they were skinny as rails because they didn't eat. They worked in the kitchen. They took a few bites. They tasted. They sat down. They took another bite. They were off to make the next course.
That's it.
We ate until we were stuffed. This was the idea of being full. The idea that I could be okay with what in the past would be an incredibly small volume of food. It's just liberating. It's like I don't even think about it.
Yeah, I know. It's a great thing. I mean, I think back to some of my earlier meals before I lost my weight. And I can remember a friend once served me a hamburger, and it was a small hamburger. And I looked at it, and I would normally eat 2 big ones. And I'm looking at that thing and thinking, that's my dinner? Boy, this is really not the way to treat a guest. I come over to your house and this is what I get to eat. I'm going to leave here hungry, and I did, and whatever. Now I look back and thinking, gosh, that was more than ample. Really, it's all, why would I have ever wanted more, And it's just what we're used to, I guess, in part. It's habit. And then again, we get into the routine of just eating so much that we then find excuses why we need to continue to eat that amount. As guys, we need it because we need the food, we need to keep the protein going, or whatever, it just goes on and on. So I think for most people, it's just an excuse, because food really, frankly, is good, especially these days. Food is really good. There's so many wonderful flavors out there and different combinations of flavors. Food's fantastic. It's one of the beautiful things about living in the 21st century. But we just can't eat it all. That's what we realize. And once you make that realization, once you come to that conclusion that we just can't simply finish everything all the time, the rest of your life is so much more fun and easy and carefree. That's the way it should be.
I'm sure I'm expressing what you've heard from a lot of your patients. I am tired, weary, mind weary, soul weary of worrying about food and amounts and all the rest.
That's right.
This seems to be a training to get to a very natural, easy way of losing and then maintaining. So
that's it. Well, I'm so excited that you're out there, because I know that you're going to get out there and spread the good word. I feel it. And I'm so excited. This is, how exciting is that? It's great. Yeah. So up in Las Vegas, it's great. Spread the word.
We are now the food capital. I'm a New Yorker, originally born and spent the whole time, went to law school, college, and in the Village at the greatest restaurant. Now I'm in Las Vegas, where the greatest restaurants.
You have some great restaurants in Las Vegas.
Unbelievable.
I went to school in New Orleans. So New Orleans food is pretty high up on the list as well.
It's the best. You go to Brennan's.
Brennan's fantastic. Port of Two Sisters.
I went to Cafe Du Monde every morning for 32 straight days and had beignets. I could have lived on.
Commander's Palace. I don't know if you ever ate at Commander's Palace. Oh, extraordinary, right?
Yeah, you could eat. I ate 4 or 5 dozen oysters at Acme Oysters down on the quarter, and it was just. And here, I have the ability to eat just about any restaurant, and certainly any casino-associated restaurant, and they're very generous. Let's just put it that way.
That's fantastic. I tell you, you're in a great position, because there's some amazing foods there, some amazing restaurants.
Yeah, I don't want to push it too far, because right now I'm only on 12 days of 5 bites. So let me get my sea legs under me. I got 4 days of dinners coming up. Then I think I'll do Snickers bars for a little while, and then I'll start really fine tuning. My volume is right, and so forth. But,
well, I'm really excited. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you're out there.
I don't know how I say thank you enough for your support. It's just phenomenal.
It's all you. It's all
you and me here tonight, because I feel like I've hogged your time. But, thank you.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled. It makes me so happy to know that I've hopefully in some small way impacted somebody else's life. So
without a doubt, your enthusiasm and your obvious passion and belief in what you're doing, it's so apparent. It's not. You're not some. I don't know how to put it. Diet. There's so many people who are out of integrity with what they're teaching and all the rest of that.
Right.
And that what comes across for you is absolute 100% integrity between what you say, how you say it, your inflection, your intonation, and your belief. And
thanks.
Just bless you.
Well, thanks. Well, it just is what it is. It is what it is. This is just. It's just pure science. So that's all I'm doing is I'm just relating it to the rest of you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your compliments, and I can't wait to see how you do next week. I just can't wait. So when do you update?
I will update on, today is Monday, on Wednesday.
Okay.
And so I'm expecting a 3 or 4 pound loss only, but it's okay. Whatever it is, I can't be any more compliant.
That's right. You cannot be more compliant. That's exactly right.
I may have some little fluctuation because I'll be eating out instead of preparing my food. Whatever it is, it is. It's going to be 5 bites. It's going to be water. It's going to be coffee. It's going to be a multivitamin. Period. End story. And we'll see how it goes.
That's exactly right. And the thing is, the key thing is this: you're comfortable.
So
if you had to live like this for the rest of your life, you could do it.
No problem. If this takes 6 months, it takes 6 months. I don't care. We're going to our weight.
That's it.
And we'll get there when we get there. You've told me that this is the way to do it.
That's it.
Just about as quickly as it can go. Maybe I'll work to 3 bites. I don't know, but we'll get there. Right now, let me get the 5 bites down. I'm doing it,
Got it.
and it'll get there in nature's good time.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited. All right, Michael, so great talking to you again. You're talking about my enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm is amazing.
Well, I'm excited to
It's
find
going
this.
to
Believe me,
inspire everybody to do the same thing. I'm sorry. What was that?
No, I've been around the nutritional block. I mean, from the late 60s when I was a dietary hippie, vegetarian, vegan before it was popular. Come on,
Yeah.
I did it all.
Yeah.
A few of those days, and one of those fasts was with Dick Gregory down in Florida. I mean,
Okay.
you name the trip I've been on, and it's like, oh, really, moron? You want to lose weight, you eat less. Oh.
That's right. That's it. Exactly. You're doing great.
Feel sheepishly ignorant, but happy to have found it, and so thankful for your support.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much. So can we do this again next week?
100%.
I would love to hear how this next week goes for you. Especially with your dinners coming up, your big meals.
Sure. I know you have a lot on your plate, and if you want, I can shoot you a private message on the forum.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Seriously.
Cool.
It'd be great.
Thank
All
you.
right. You bet.
I'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.